Ferrari, my homeboy! Let's go! We're back with a special episode of the AC podcast because yesterday I was vindicated. Yesterday, I was the only one on my show last week that picked the right team to win the Super Bowl. I'm the only one who did not bet against Patrick Mahomes. Man, this guy is something special, man. This guy is something special. I admitted last week I was picking one of my emotions because I'm attached to Patrick Mahomes, other than Carson Wentz, of course. Now, I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, just like some of y'all are Tom Brady's fans. So, I had to root for the Chiefs. I was rooting for them like I was a fan, a true fan. In some ways I could argue I am because, we came from the Seminoles and I come from FSU and, they do the Seminole chant just like, the Chiefs. But needless to say, Patrick Mahomes, this guy reeks of stuff of legend. Like, this guy, man, what an amazing fourth quarter performance that was by Patrick Mahomes, man. This guy's something special. There's just no other way to slice it. This guy is something special. And we saw it last night in the fourth quarter. We saw what this guy can do. So let's get right into the analysis. Because I'm here to brag and boast. I'm sorry. But when you hear this, ha ha. Toby, when you hear this, ha ha. Okay, I'm done. Let me stop. But on watching the game yesterday, obviously there were a multitude of key turning points in the game. Obviously going into the game, I thought the Chiefs would put up 30. I did not think that Jimmy Garoppolo would throw 8 passes in the game and the 49ers were going to win because I just thought there was no way that the 49ers were going to run roughshod all over the Chiefs and he only throw 8 passes to win this Super Bowl. There's just no way. But I admit Jimmy Garoppolo was impressive yesterday. And I think the game is more so on him than Kyle Shanahan. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But this is all about the Kansas City Chiefs. I have to start with them because they're the winners. Obviously, when you're up 10 points in the fourth quarter and you blow the lead, obviously the winning team has to do some things to lose the game as much as the Chiefs did to win the game. But I'm going to start with the winners. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was not having a stellar game. The moment looked too big for him at certain points in the game. He threw 2 interceptions, which is something I did not account for. But I'll give credit where it's due. IT did call that during the game. I also said Jimmy G would throw 2 interceptions, which he did as well. And when it just boils down to it, one team had a quarterback and one team didn't. One team had the best player in the league, and one team had a guy who rode the team's coattails. Not to say that Jimmy G's a scrub or anything. I think he's actually a good quarterback. And mind you, this is only his second full year starting, so I'm not going to knock the guy or anything like that for what happened. But Patrick Mahomes, man, to lead 3 straight scoring drives in 6 minutes, it's just the stuff of legend. This guy 3-0 in the postseason, went down by double digits, down 24-0 to the Houston Texans, down 17-7 to the Tennessee Titans, down 20-10 in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes and some change left to the San Francisco 49ers. All I heard, everyone doubted the Chiefs but me. This was the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl once they got in the playoffs. Now, I was salivating. I wanted to see a Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes AFC Championship game, but I would have still picked the Chiefs in that game. But needless to say, people just were underestimating that this is a quarterback-driven league. It's always all about the run game. That stuff is gone. Gone are the days of these running games, running teams to Super Bowls. And I'm talking about an elite running back. Because everyone tried to tell me, oh, well, they didn't play anybody in the Texans. It's Bill O'Brien's fault. La da da da. It was the defense's fault too. They gave 7 straight scoring drives. Okay, I'll get fine. Well, okay. Now they're gonna play the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship game. Oh, well, the Tennessee Titans stopped running the ball with Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill's not a good quarterback. Okay. Now he's down 20-10 to the San Francisco 49ers with that pass rush with DeForest Buckner, with Eric Armstead, Solomon Thomas, D Ford, and Nick Bosa. He was standing there tough, taking some shots. He got sacked 4 times in the game. Obviously, wasn't his most stellar game, probably his worst game of the season when he was fully healthy, because the Colts game was probably his worst game of the season. But when he was fully healthy, this is his worst game of the season, and he still won. down to that running game and that pass rush. That's all I heard all week. Oh, they're going to run all over Kansas City. They're going to roughshod over these guys. They got the number one rushing attack. They got the number one defense ranked against the pass. They're going to be all over Patrick Mahomes and these receivers and blah, 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 blah. And this man still came back despite all those odds. This is a quarterback-driven league, man. That's what last night showed me. It's a quarterback-driven league and it's a passing league. Now, you need an effective running game at some point, obviously. In Kansas City, obviously, Damian Williams rushed for 17 carries for 104 yards. Obviously, that 38-yard scamper to end the game was, the final nail in the coffin. But Chiefs don't win this game without Patrick Mahomes. A 44-yard throw standing tall in the pocket, throwing it to Tyreek Hill. That big play on Sherman to Sammy Watkins. Those are the two biggest plays of the game to me. I feel like that's why the Chiefs won. I feel like Patrick Mahomes rightfully deserved Super Bowl MVP over Damian Williams. I don't want to hear anybody telling me that Damian Williams deserved to be Super Bowl MVP. I don't want to hear it. Don't even come to me with that foolishness. This is all about Patrick Ferrari Mahomes. And this guy's a luxury to have. This guy's just something special, man. This guy is something special. Something special. But let's get to the San Francisco 49ers because I have more to say about them than I do about the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think this game is as much on Kyle Shanahan as I've been hearing about today. People are blaming him. How can you blow two big Super Bowl leads? Obviously, the 28-3 one has to be on him. I think this game is on him to some degree. Obviously, when you blow a 20-10 lead, I don't think he ran the ball nearly enough, although I can't fault him because a few plays just didn't go their way, which I'm going to touch on, obviously. But when I look at what went wrong for the San Francisco 49ers, I go back to the first half. A minute 40, a minute 45 left on the clock. Kyle Shanahan doesn't call a timeout. The GM, John Lynch, can be seen in the press box yelling for him to call a timeout. And he didn't call one. Jimmy G didn't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to call a timeout with all that time on the clock. Kyle Shanahan clearly was content going into the halftime with a 10-10 lead, knowing he's going to get the ball in the second half. No type of killer mentality. No type of Mamba mentality. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. He didn't have any guts. And I think that's why the San Francisco 49ers ultimately lost this game. How can you have a minute and 45 seconds? This is one of the top scoring offenses in the league, one of the best play callers in the league. Play action had been working. The running game had been working. You have 3 timeouts, and you not call one timeout to orchestrate a scoring drive for a field goal or a touchdown. I think the San Francisco 49ers, if I'm being honest, because even though I was rooting for the Chiefs, let me be honest. I think the San Francisco 49ers would have used their timeouts, and I think they could have orchestrated a drive, and I think they would have got a touchdown, if I'm being honest. At the bare minimum, a field goal, but I'm saying touchdown. I think they go into halftime with a touchdown lead if they call a timeout. But instead, Kyle Shanahan decided not to. Apparently, he didn't learn anything from being up 28-3 and calling a conservative game the rest of the game. Obviously, it wasn't all his fault that they blew a 28-3 lead. But how can you be this innovative, brilliant mind on offense and get outscored in the past 2 fourth quarters? You've been the chief play caller, 40-0. 40-0? That's abysmal. That's embarrassing. On the biggest stage, you just didn't have what it took. A brilliant offensive mind went scoreless in 2 consecutive fourth quarters where he was calling the plays. Now, let me get to the second half because I feel like if the San Francisco 49ers won this game, I felt like Deebo Samuel was going to be MVP. Because I felt like he was the best player on the field other than Patrick Mahomes last night. Jimmy G was respectable. 20-31, 219 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Granted, it wasn't the most stellar game from him, but I was actually impressed with what he was doing. He was, 49ers were doing a lot of stuff to get the Chiefs off balance, running Deebo Samuel in motion, obviously using the fullback in motion, screens, a lot of jet sweep motion, just a lot of eye candy to get guys on the edge. They were attacking the edges against Kansas City, and the Kansas City Chiefs really don't have a linebacker that's sideline to sideline, which is why they were getting caught up in the wash a lot. Linebackers were slow to react. So Deebo Samuel, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert were getting to the edges, and they were just taking it to the Kansas City Chiefs on the edges. It was an assault on the edges, which I kind of expected going into the game. I didn't expect the San Francisco 49ers to run right at the Chiefs. I expected more, power plays, stretch plays, outside zone plays. to take advantage of the running back speed, because it was a speed on speed battle as far as wide receivers and running backs, and you want to get your speedy running backs on the edge, and that's what they did out of multiple formations: I form, single back, obviously, shotgun primarily. But it was San Francisco 49ers. They were running the ball effectively. Had 109 yards, I believe, by the end of the fourth quarter. They ended the game with how many rushing yards did they? They ended the game with 141 rushing yards. So, I mean, Kansas City ended with 129. Most of that was on that 39-yard scamper, obviously. But needless to say, they were running the ball effectively on Kansas City. They really couldn't stop it. And people want to harken back to the one drive where Raheem Mostert ran for 5 yards, and then the 49ers elected to throw it on 2nd and 5. I don't have a problem with that play call because George Kittle was wide open. Wide open, the ball just got batted down by Chris Jones. Nothing you can do about that. It's just, sometimes the way the cookie crumbles. Then they had to throw it again. Obviously, it's a passing situation, incomplete. There were actually two plays on a 2nd down and a 3rd down where Jimmy G just missed George Kittle. If those plays are completed, we're not having this discussion most likely. And then we get to the Emmanuel Sanders play where he overthrew him. That's a touchdown. He beat double coverage. So I'm not looking at this game and blaming it solely on Kyle Shanahan. I mean, at some point when your offense goes scoreless for 7 straight possessions, that's kind of ridiculous to me. In the fourth quarter, 7 straight possessions, you didn't score, you didn't do anything with the ball. One of them was a turnover and downs, one of them was a pick. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough, not against this Kansas City team. And even though the Kansas City Chiefs were still down 10 against this pass rush and this defense, which they were playing lights out, the 49ers defense was getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Nick Bosa got pressure on 30% of his pass rushes, which is just completely and utterly ridiculous. San Francisco 49ers were having a lot of success sliding him inside, getting him against the guards, which he was just assaulting everybody. Nick Bosa was something special last night. I can't deny that, but I've been raving about him all year. So, I'm not going to give him any more praise. But Patrick Mahomes, he's just different. He's just different. And with these weapons that he has, it makes him all the much better because he has the arm and these receivers have the speed to get behind guys. Relatively clean game, not really anything to blame as far as ref-wise. Some people want to question offensive pass interference on Kittle. I don't. I think it was offensive pass interference. He extended his arm twice on Sorensen, so I don't really have a problem with it. But needless to say, Patrick Mahomes, he's only 24, youngest guy to win a Super Bowl MVP and an MVP, obviously from his first year starting with 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. But obviously this wasn't his greatest game yesterday, but this guy's just resilient. I think 27 other quarterbacks are playing, they lose this game. I think there's only maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks that could have won this game. And Patrick Mahomes is one of the guys that I just didn't bail on him. I did not bail on him. I had complete and utter faith that he was going to come back and win this game. It wasn't looking good, obviously, but I believed in Patrick Mahomes and he vindicated me. I feel good knowing that this man won the Super Bowl. It feels like my team just won the Super Bowl because I'm that big of a Patrick Mahomes fan. And this was just something special to see last night. I mean, you just look at what he did, scrambling, throwing, standing there taking shots from the San Francisco 49ers pass rush. Andy Reid deserved this. He deserved it. This finally cements his legacy. And if you're Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, you're probably sick to your stomach right now, obviously. Not feeling good about what just transpired. But I think you could still win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not going to say that you can't. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers still have a great offensive line, great running game, creative play caller who can design a bunch of different runs. But I'm not going to get on Kyle Shanahan for not running the ball enough in this game. I don't think that was the problem. I just think I think Jimmy Garoppolo did miss 2 throws rather. One got batted down, obviously. And then, Kyle Shanahan just didn't run the ball enough. But I can't fault him for the 2nd and 5 throw. Play action been working all night. The Chiefs couldn't guard dig routes, inside cuts. They were struggling with that all night. I wish Kittle would have been more involved. Just 4 receptions for 36 yards for the best tight end in football. That's not enough. but he was double teamed a lot. But I just think Jimmy G didn't go to him enough. I mean, you got to give this guy a chance. He's the best tight end in football to me. The number one, number two tight ends in football were on the field last night. I mean, Travis Kelce didn't have a much bigger game, but 6 receptions, 43 yards on 6 targets. But I just think that Jimmy G just, didn't target him enough. Obviously, Deebo Samuel was the best player on the field to me, rushing and catching the ball, obviously. I think he would have been Super Bowl MVP if the San Francisco 49ers won. But ultimately, this was Patrick Mahomes. This was, what can you do? This guy scares the what into you. And, 49ers just found themselves unable to stop him when it really counted. I don't think the defense of the San Francisco 49ers is getting enough blame because they could have stopped the Chiefs at some point. They were stopping them the whole game. That's all I was hearing. They were stopping them. They were holding them to 10 points. And then, I believe, what's his name? Mosley busted a coverage on a cover 3 that allowed Tyreek Hill to get down the field. Then Richard Sherman got ran by Sammy Watkins. Those are the 2 big plays to me that Patrick Mahomes cashed in on, which were his longest throws of the night, obviously. So when you look at that, congratulations to the Chiefs, they're Super Bowl champions. I'm going to say it again. FERRARI Mahomes! But other than that, it's been a pleasure having you guys listen to me. Obviously, this is the last episode. I just had to come on and gloat for a little bit, celebrate, talk about what I saw from the game, what I analyzed from both sides of the ball, obviously. I appreciate you guys for listening. This is AC signing off for the final time. See you guys next season. For real this time. Peace.